Crypto Saving Expert, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and to take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess, and today we have a lot of news to discuss, so let's go straight into it and take a look at CoinMarketCap. Let me share my screen. We can see here Bitcoin is currently sat at $23,420, and we have Ethereum sat at $1,640. So we did see a slight move to the upside yesterday, and we'll do a little bit of Bitcoin analysis now to see what is happening on the charts. Now, we've discussed this a couple of times. I was just looking at the charts here. I've got a load of lines on my chart right now, so don't worry about them too much. I was just looking at this level of support that we have gained, and now we've drawn this from back on the 19th of January, and then we've retouched that a couple of times in the last couple of weeks as well. This is currently set at $23,000. We also obviously have this level of resistance that we have touched numerous times. We're looking at around $24,000 being the new level of resistance that we are trying to break through. If we go out onto the longer time frames and we zoom out a little bit, you can see we don't really have much price consolidation between the $25,300 level, if I were to draw that correctly, and the $28,000 level is the minimum price I would go to. Those levels don't have much price consolidation within them. We don't have many levels of support, and we don't have many levels of resistance. So if we break through that level, that lower level soon, we could see a pretty nice move to the upside. And another thing that is pointing that direction to me is that CME gap we have already up at $28,000. We do also have a CME gap down at $20,000, but these are all the levels that we are looking at. Also, it is now Friday, so we have a CME gap starting tonight at 10 p.m. UTC time. We see that gap start to form. So the CME gap is a gap that is formed from the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is the world's largest derivatives exchange. And they're operational Monday to Friday. So we have that gap that's created in the markets between the Friday night and the Monday morning. And that gap acts like a magnet for the Bitcoin price. To close that gap, we want to see the price of Bitcoin trade within those levels. So right now, if we see a huge move up to the upside over the weekend, we will then have a CME gap below us, which may cause us to have a couple of doubts in our minds as to whether we may see a downwards movement, or if we move to the downside over the weekend. That is always what I like to see, because that makes me very confident that I can enter a long position, because a lot of the time we do actually close a CME gap on the Monday or Tuesday of the following week, and that is a recurring pattern, and many people actually trade that CME gaps and just put a position open depending on if the CME gap is above or below, and enter a long or a short position in order to, in the prediction that the price will fill that CME gap pretty quickly, and that is a very common trading strategy. So let's take a look at the news for today anyway. We've got a little bit to discuss. Let's take a look at our Instagram first. If you don't already, make sure to follow us over on Instagram. We are Crypto Saving Expert over on Instagram. I will share that with my new fancy banners, and you can see here we post news updates over there every single day. If you haven't already as well, please make sure to like today's stream and subscribe. We do these live streams every single weekday, keeping us all up to date with the markets and the news so that we all know exactly what is happening. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe and press that bell notification button so that you don't miss anything. Let's take a look now at what we have been posting on our Instagram recently. We have some news here. We have the Logan Paul story that we are going to discuss at the end of today's stream. We also have the UK government has started a public consultation on new crypto-related rules and regulations, and they aim to gather insight from key figures in the cryptocurrency industry. We've also seen law enforcement officials have arrested the supposed actual owner of South Korea's largest crypto exchange, BitHub, over money and laundering allegations. We covered that in yesterday's news over on these live streams. And we've seen the cryptocurrency tax software company has shown that London has become the world's leading city for cryptocurrency due to its large concentration of crypto businesses, crypto ATMs, crypto ownership, and capital gains tax rates. Now, that is very shocking information for me. That is not what I expected to hear. Let's take a look over at the news anyway. We post our news currently on our Medium page, Crypto Saving Experts, but very, very shortly, if you have been in our on our list of emails, you will have received an email very, very soon, or yesterday I think it may have been, announcing when our website is going to launch, and all of our news articles will move over there, and we'll be doing these live streams over on our website as well, so it'll be very exciting. Taking a look at this, bankrupt FTX delays sale of Japan and Europe units. So on January 2013, the Delaware bankruptcy court greenlighted the sale of some of FTX's businesses, including Ledger X, Embed, and FTX's European and Chinese units. The bidding window for the Japan and Europe businesses was initially scheduled to begin on January the 18th, lasting through February the 1st as the preliminary deadline. However, the preliminary bid deadline has now been pushed back to March 8th, according to the court's document. The final deadline is April the 19th, but the auctions will begin on April the 26th. While the bidding continues, FTX's Japan looks to return the assets to customers starting this month. The exchange will also maintain its licenses even after a potential takeover, said Japan's financial service agency. So right now we are seeing customers potentially receiving some funds back. That is a very quick turnaround for something like this. I mean, we've seen Mt. Gox has still not returned their their customer funds to those users. We have seen a quick turnaround here, and we are seeing that the exchange will also maintain its license even after a potential takeover. So this is indicating again that potentially FTX could actually restart. It may be bought out by somebody else, but the infrastructure is still there. It still works. They have a company set up with all the licenses. They have the infrastructure to build an actual good cryptocurrency exchange. It was just the managers within the company that were causing it to be a problem if they're removed from the business, or if the sale is complete and it is taken over. It's still a perfectly good exchange. FTX turns to unit sales to raise more money. So FTX filed for bankruptcy in November with an estimated $8 billion shortfall and 1 million creditors. Subsequent documents showed the exchange owed about $3.1 billion to the top 50 creditors alone. And as of January 2023, the attorneys have recovered about $5 billion in cash and liquid crypto assets. The sale of these businesses is considered part of the administrator's effort to raise money in order to repay creditors. And solvent FTX businesses could lose value if not sold. So we're seeing here the relative independence of each of the businesses' operations from the remainder of the debtor's core business operations make a potential sale process for each of the businesses relatively less complex. The attorneys have said, adding the business stands the risk of losing value if not sold quickly. So at the moment, FTX still, all of these businesses that are branches of FTX hold a lot of assets that are still performing well. I mean, their assets would have increased over the last couple of weeks. Usually when we see something like this, they liquidate a lot of their assets, dumping a lot of tokens onto the market. So we are hoping that that doesn't happen too much on here. And that's why a lot of people sold Solana. And that's why Solana dumped pretty quickly on the market. So let's see what Solana is performing like at the moment. I haven't taken a look at this while. It's still ranked number 11 in terms of market cap. That is shocking. I think it is still above Polkadot. Let's take a look where Polkadot is. Polkadot shocks me every single time. Hello, it is, yep. Solana has a higher market cap than Polkadot, and the trading volume is double what it is on Polkadot as well. I don't think that will be the case for much longer. Nothing is financial advice on this channel, and I'm not meant to give my personal opinions, but I'm not a fan of Solana. We can see here we have it down at $24.40. If we take a look on the bigger time frames, you can see the dump from when FTX collapsed back in November over here, and then we have half recovered from that prior to that point, but FTX owed a huge percentage of the circulating supply of Solana, and that is why the price dumped so heavily, because if FTX collapses and they have a huge amount, it's likely they're going to liquidate their assets and therefore dump a huge amount of Solana onto the markets. Moving on now to Chainalysis to lay off 4.8% of its staff, citing reduced private sector demands. So Chainalysis cited reduced private sector demand for its services and the ripple effects of the crypto market sell-off in 2022 as the main reasons it was downsizing. So we've seen this over and over and over again. We had USTD peg back in May 2022. We had Celsius. We had 3 Hours Capital. We had BlockFi, we had FTX. We saw centralized companies within cryptocurrencies have a domino effect throughout 2022. It was one collapse after another. The markets were dropping and dropping and dropping, and we're still seeing the repercussions of this. We're seeing, as you can see here, the private sector demand has declined, and therefore Chainalysis are removing 44 of its 900 employees, so taking 4.8% of its workforce are leaving. Other reasons included a plan to develop more new products focused on the finance sector and public clients. In particular, the majority of affected employees were in the sales department. Some employees still with the company will have new roles and reporting lines. A Chainalysis spokesperson told Bloomberg that the job cuts were part of a broader reorganization plan. and they said that the company is well capitalized and that it will reconfigure its teams in a new refocused strategy later this year. So obviously we're discussing here the effects that FTX's collapse had on cryptocurrency companies and the industry. Obviously, it's very sad to see every single time that people are laid off, and people have been laid off. A lot of the huge big tech companies, a lot recently, we've seen huge percentages of people being let go from these big companies. But as long as the big companies can survive and the majority are continuing forward, that is the main thing. Chainalysis bring a huge amount of information into the space. They are a very, very good blockchain analyst company that bring on-chain data let me start that again. Chainalysis bring on-chain data into our news sources in a way that is easy to understand for everybody. So I do like Chainalysis as a company and the news that they provide into the industry. Let's take a look now at the next article. Lee said coffee and crypto. Jess, nice. Thank you very much for tuning in with your morning coffee. It depends where everyone is around the world. Someone tunes in from Australia late at night, which just blows my mind a little bit. But let's take a look now at the next article. We have Kraken to close its Abu Dhabi office after operating for less than a year. So crypto exchange Kraken has wound down operations in Dubai office after less than a year in the UAE. The exchange has also suspended support for transactions in the UAE dirham currency, but its users in the region will still be able to access the platform with their balances automatically converted from dirhams to US dollars, which can still be withdrawn alongside other fiat currencies it supports. According to Bloomberg, the office closure is part of Kraken's retrenchment plans announced last November that involved downsizing its global staff by almost a third. The US-based crypto exchange also laid off most of its team in the Middle East and North Africa, affecting about 8 roles. So we're seeing this again, as we've just discussed. People are laying off some of their staff because the markets just aren't upholding those profits, and therefore they need to reduce some of those outputs, and unfortunately that is going down to the staff. Moving on now to JP Morgan saying that 72% of institutional e-traders have no plans to trade cryptocurrency. Now, we actually saw the number of people within cryptocurrency increase massively over 2022, despite it being a bear market. So I'm very bullish and still expecting a huge amount of adoption. But we can see here the survey is JP Morgan's 7th edition, and it interviewed 835 institutional traders in 60 global locations. The survey began on January the 3rd and ended 20 days later on January the 23rd. The findings revealed that 72% of the respondents indicated zero interest in crypto, as they have no plans to trade digital coins. And JP Morgan have said this chart shows 72% of traders surveyed have no plans to trade crypto and digital coins, with 14 predicting they're not currently trading but plan to trade within 5 years, and 8% are currently trading and 6% are not currently but plan on within 1 year. So the skepticism towards cryptocurrencies reflects findings from a different poll in the same survey, where almost half of the traders predicted that volatile markets would be their greatest daily trading challenge in 2023. I do expect it to be very volatile, but unfortunately the crypto market is known for its volatility and ability to cause significant losses within a short period. But it's also known for its volatility and its ability to make a lot of gains within a short period as well. Let's take a look at this. Unfavoring effects of the market's instability were seen last year when numerous crypto firms went bankrupt due to the plunge in prices of cryptocurrencies. So we are seeing a huge amount of fear surrounding this space right now. Obviously, after 2022, this is what we expect. After every single bear market, this is what we expect. And then the bull market starts and people start to hear about people making a lot of money again. And then everyone floods back into the space again. This happens over and over again. This isn't the first time we've seen these 4-year cycles. And they will continue to repeat, in my opinion. The history will repeat itself. But moving on to the next article, let's see what's happening over here. And Hamzak's just reminded me in the chat. Thank you, Hamzak. Please make sure to all like today's video and subscribe and press the bell notification button to help us grow the channel as much as possible. We are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are currently on 16 likes for today's video. Please make sure to continue liking and subscribing and press the bell notification button if you are new here, because we will keep you up to date with the news every single weekday so you don't miss anything that's going on within the world of cryptocurrency. Let me take that banner off the screen so you can see a little bit more of the news. Let's take a look at the next article, and we have Bedrock, a major upgrade from Optimism network, is expected to arrive in March. So this Optimism is a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum and announced its most significant upgrade yesterday. Bedrock aims to increase Ethereum transaction speeds and reduce costs while preserving mainnet security and compatibility. On March the 16th, the Ethereum layer 2 network Optimism plans to officially launch Bedrock, its first significant upgrade to enhance the overall network performance. The team behind Optimism claims that the new OP stacks Bedrock completely rewrites the foundation elements of the Optimism architecture and is the result of years of study and work by the Ethereum scaling community. For layer 2 solutions, this improvement delivers a new level of modularity, ease of use, and Ethereum equivalence, delivering previously unheard of performance and capability. So we are seeing people build within the bear market. This article goes into a lot of detail, so we'll just skim over it for now. But we are seeing people build within the bear market and building on these blockchains that we have had in the space for a long time, helping us improve them as much as possible. You have to remember, there's a big fight within cryptocurrency because Ethereum is was the first blockchain that allowed us to add smart contracts and decentralized applications and was built for that purpose. Since then, we've seen other projects come out with platforms that actually could perform better, but we can actually build on top of them and build these layer 2 scaling solutions on the original blockchains, or we can just go to a new blockchain altogether. And that's a big debate, and that is why we see all of these Ethereum competitors. But Ethereum is the number one, and it's the first one to ever exist. If we can add layer 2 scaling solutions onto it, is that what's going to keep us? We don't know. That is what we'll see within the next couple of years of cryptocurrency. We did see last week Polygon had more daily active users than Ethereum. Again, they seem to fluctuate who's got the highest amount of daily active users. But moving on now to the next article, we have Logan Paul, CryptoZoo, slammed with lawsuit over alleged rug pull. So this is the headline news story of today's stream. We can see earlier today, YouTube and online sleuth Stefan Findiesen, aka CoffeeZilla, tweeted that the American media personality Logan Paul has been slammed with a class action lawsuit. So rewinding a little bit over what has happened in recent weeks, we saw Logan Paul launch CryptoZoo, and then we saw CoffeeZilla do a 2-part YouTube series on why it was a complete scam. Then Logan Paul threatened to sue CoffeeZilla for defamation of character. And then Logan Paul decided he wasn't going to do that anymore because he got a lot of backlash on the internet. And now we are seeing CoffeeZilla say Logan Paul was just sued in a class action lawsuit for his role in CryptoZoo. I've just clicked on the link like I do every single day, along with Jeff Levin, Crypto King, Eddie Ibanez, and more. So we can actually see the screenshot here. Taking a look at this, the lead plaintiff Donald Holland accused Paul and his associates of promoting CryptoZoo and promises of exclusive access and other benefits, but later abandoned the project and made away with investors' money. So they're saying it's a rug pull. As part of the defendant's NFT scheme, defendants marketed CZ NFTs to purchasers by falsely claiming that in exchange for transferring cryptocurrencies to purchase the CZ NFT, purchasers would later receive benefits. Holland said, adding that the defendants executed a rug pull. So they're actually getting accused of a rug pull here. The brewing CryptoZoo scandal follows a video series of CoffeeZilla. We've just discussed this, and 6 people interviewed by CoffeeZilla in the series admitted to losing at least $600,000 in the game. So a lot of people actually invested in this project because of the publicity that it would get. Cryptocurrency investments are a tricky one because there's some projects that are incredibly good out there that have huge amounts of use cases and they have all of the infrastructure, but they just don't get that publicity in order to perform well within the markets. Cryptocurrencies and anything in general to do well need good marketing. A project by Logan Paul, you can tell, is going to have good marketing. He's a huge public figure, so a lot of people have invested on that basis. But also, in the same token, it's Logan Paul. Is he a cryptocurrency expert? No. So investing in his project is purely a risk, in my opinion, because he doesn't really know what he's doing, and we've seen that. Obviously, he's been accused of a rug pull now. Paul's initial response to CoffeeZilla's revelation wasn't well received, as he barely addressed the claims of why the project has since been silent. And he also threatened to sue CoffeeZilla for defamation and leading the charge to drive and monetize a narrative telling millions of people that I'm a fraud or I tried to scam my audience. And the apology was not enough. CryptoZoo tweeted, attention zookeepers, please unlist your base eggs and base animals from market.cryptozoo.co, or I've clicked on the link again, or anywhere you have listed as we prepare for the next step of CryptoZoo. So that is all we've seen so far from that news. And that is all we have for today's video. Let's go back over to Bitcoin and see what's happening over here. We are currently being rejected by the $24,000 level. I personally have found this new level of support that I'm taking a look at, that I've taken the bodies of these candles from and the wicks of these two candles from, that we're looking at a level of support at $23,000. We also have a level of support, let me draw this out, from over here at $22,600. So they're the levels I'm personally looking at right now. We can also take a look at some indicators to see what is happening here. Let's take a look at the RSI. We currently have a lot of indicators on this chart already. What time frame are we on right now? We are on the 4-hour chart. The MACD is just ticking into bearish momentum. And the RSI is looking pretty neutral, so just around 50. So that isn't too bad for the RSI. A little bit worrying on the MACD if we're going to the smaller time frames. You can see on the 1-hour chart, the RSI is slightly oversold, and the bearish momentum is declining on the MACD as well. So on the 1-hour chart, things aren't looking too bad, but we'll have to stick around and see what happens. That is all for today's stream. Please make sure not to forget to like, subscribe, press the bell notification button, and we'll be back on Monday with more cryptocurrency news. I hope everybody has a lovely weekend, and I will see you then.